Good afternoon, Eleanor.
Good afternoon, Bob.
Eleanor, could you tell me why you decided to become an elementary teacher?
Yes, I wanted to become a teacher since I was small when I asked from Santa Claus a kit of teaching supplies. But I've always had a passion and interest just because I love the environment within a classroom and sort of the support I got from my early on teachers. I had some really great teachers and some teachers that didn't have the most positive impact on me, but I learned that those teachers really guided and moved me throughout my life and gave me the confidence and passions that I do have today. So I value how important teachers are to children.
Okay, thank you. Could you tell us about a lesson you taught that went really well and why you thought that was so?
Yes, during my last practicum, I taught a grade 2 science lesson, and we did a liquids and solids race. And so the students, I made placemats so they could have a hands-on learning approach to the lesson, and they got to get chocolate syrup, honey, and water and see how fast they got to flow by doing it as a class and lifting them all up together simultaneously. And I found that it was a great engaging experience to capture their minds and get them very interested in science, but also to teach them with a hands-on approach. So they got to learn about the procedures of a science experiment and how to reflect on things that they did see and learn from that. So I thought it was a great, enjoyable and exciting lesson for the students.
Thank you. If you think back to your last practicum, could you tell us about what you think the teacher would say or are your 5 strongest attributes as a teacher?
Yeah, I think that my biggest thing is to have interpersonal relationships and skills with the students, so get to know their interests, get to know a little bit more about them as a student so that I could work those into the lessons. I thought that was really important to make sure that they found their identity being reflected in the lessons I was teaching. So definitely creating those strong relationships. I'd say I'm really big on communication, so walking students through lessons in a slow and concise manner was really important to make sure the students were engaged and understanding. And also, if I did realize that there was a confusion with the students, addressing that and making sure that they're informed and understanding of what we are doing. I think that I was good on improvising and changing up my plans. So even though I had planned out a lesson to do, I realized that some of the students weren't ready to move on. So gaining insight onto what they are needing and changing my plans based on their levels, where they're at, is important. I thought I made good connections with the staff. I know that in a community it's really important to build those relationships with not just, it's very important the students, but also the staff and parents, and having those other relationships, because it doesn't just take the one teacher to have an impact on the students. So having those relationships with everyone I'm working with is really important to me. And the last one I would say is positivity is a big one, especially in elementary school when things don't go according to plan, but just going with a positive attitude is definitely beneficial.
Okay. Possibly drawing again on your last practicum, what would you say are the characteristics of a good lesson?
Yeah, I think characteristics of a good lesson, I would say, are don't have an overwhelming content that I'm trying to teach. So it's very important, just less is more sometimes, of just making sure that they understand. I think that I'd say making sure that all their needs are met, so knowing what each student needs, whether it's a laptop they need to assist them in the lesson, looking into not just the curriculum I'm teaching, but also what their needs are and how I am approaching the lesson, but also throughout many, I would say having a different and differentiated approach to everything, just because not all students learn the same way, so making sure I'm reaching all students. And so having a hands-on approach is really important as well to get them engaged and excited about learning.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So no matter how engaging the learning, sometimes we come across one or two students who are having difficulty settling into the work.
Right.
So what is your thinking about behaviour management?
Yeah, I think behavior management is definitely something that I have to establish at the very beginning with the students, and as well as upkeep that and work throughout the school year and the time I have with them. Just introducing myself to them is important to gain that relationship where they trust me is really important, so we can work together throughout the school year. So I think starts from the beginning, set the ground rules, but also have them involved in that process. So having all the students together contribute to what our classroom guidelines and rules are, and having them sign off on that is really important. And I think that if something did go wrong, it doesn't help just to say that was not appropriate, and really educate them on why that was, had a negative impact on the class, and also how to maybe have different actions in the future. So if there was a fight in the playground, sort of really listen to them and see why they were acting the way they were, and addressing that and helping them work through their mindset so that they fully understand and make it an educational experience for them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And finally, what could you contribute to a school community outside of the classroom?
Yeah, I found that throughout my educational career that I have really valued the extracurriculars that I was involved in. Although I really enjoyed school, it was the after-school soccer and field hockey games that I got to attend gave me the confidence and excitement around school. So I really love sports, so in participating in that, specifically field hockey was my passion, but also I did soccer, swim team was also fun, but also I was in part of the crochet club in school, so just getting to know sort of the interests of the students and helping them explore those passions is important. Although I have very different experiences. I was on the Lego robotics team in grades 6 and 7, so I got to do some technology as well. So I have many different passions, but I'm willing to work with the students and staff at the school to greater their extracurricular program and give students the life skills that I gained during my experience in school. So.
Eleanor, thank you very much indeed.
Yes, thank you.